Fantano in the building. You know what else is in the building, chat? The motherfucking top of the hour ad break. Okay, that's right. I haven't forgotten. We're still back. We're still juicing. We're still gassed. All gas. Okay. We're not breaking for a moment. All right. We're here. We're ready. We're queer. We're rising up. We're going to be talking about a lot of two of my favorite things. Okay. Politics and music. As you guys know, internet's busy as music nerd. But I'm a bit of a music nerd who's busy myself. So yeah, on that note, hold on. Start the virtual camera. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. You can avoid the ads, by the way, by subscribing, chat. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Perry's 115. Thank you for the 5-2. I'll give the subs. Anthony Fantano. Hello.
Hey, what up? Hey, what up?
Oh, you were doing a different camera. Okay. I'm going to pop you out real quick. You can see me as well. You are looking handsome as ever. God damn. Look at this beautiful son of a bitch. Holy shit. Been a long time. Mr. Fantano, busiest music nerd. Internet's busiest music nerd in the building. Well, not really. Not in the flesh. But what are you wearing right now? What is this? Show us what you got going on right now.
This is for you. I figured you would. You're not into this. You're not into
Ice
the
Spice,
Nicki Minaj Ice Spice
Barbie
shirt.
world.
Yeah, you're not.
Well,
not feeling that shirt.
This is. I am a barb for all intents and purposes.
We know that you are.
Yeah, I don't want to get yelled at. I don't want to get doxxed again. Okay, please don't show up in my house and try to kill me, barbs. Okay, I know I'm not allowed to be within 500 yards of a Sephora. Okay, that's just. You know, my past conflict with the barbs. But today, we will be talking about the barbs, but we're going to be talking about a lot of other stuff as well.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Nicki Minaj because she's a big fan of the guy who this segment's about, right?
She's
number one fan.
That's right. So I
think she purchased the song on iTunes.
Oh my God. I saved myself.
She helped get it to number one. It's number one now, right?
She definitely did help in that process. So all right, I guess we should start off there. So, Anthony Fantano, for those of you who don't know, is probably the greatest, most goated music critic, music nerd online and also offline. Okay, for those of you who don't know, he's not just a handsome guy. I didn't just bring him on because he's so handsome. All right. You have been thirst trapping a lot, by the way. Have you? I mean, not you in particular, but like people keep posting your legs.
New. Those aren't new. Those are old. People, for some reason, they're new to some people, and they're just like posting them like crazy on Twitter.
It's so funny because they like posted it. I think they posted it originally as an own, but then it was like, but you look good.
Yeah, I look good in it. And
yeah,
I feel like I was saying I feel like I need to take new pictures because those are old. I feel like I've gained some muscle since then. I could outdo myself. They're freaking out. They're feasting on old thirst traps. I feel like I need to put out some new ones.
All right. Well, next time you pull up to LA, we'll go work out again together like we did last time, and we can post up together. We can post sexy photos side by side. But I digress. Let's get back to the main story at hand here. Your favorite rapper is Tom MacDonald. You've said this so many times over. Everybody knows this. You're always talking about how, you know, Tom did it again. He is the GOAT. How can
greatest
he top
white
himself?
Rapper, better white rapper than Eminem?
Yeah, 100%. Not even a question. Like he would have caused Benzino to you know off himself if he did a diss track. You know what I mean? Like Eminem can't compare.
You know, he's just telling it like it is, and he's saying stuff other people are afraid to say.
Yes, that's what I always want out of a rapper is to tell it like it is about these woke libtards ruining society. If that's what you're looking for, if that's what you're in the market for, everybody, White Tupac, also known as Tom MacDonald, is the man for you. Okay? I'm shocked that, you know, Yasin Bey didn't have a take on him. He was too busy dissing Drake. Well, not even dissing him, but just like correctly calling Drake shopping music. Because I think he was too afraid. He was too afraid of Tom's power. Anyway, so enough riffing off of Tom. So Tom made a song called Facts. and I have yet to listen to it. Okay, I've yet to listen to it. I've saved myself for you, Anthony Fantano.
You've showed an immense amount of restraint.
Well, it was all over my timeline. I've seen like bits and pieces of it. So let's just get started on this first. This came out of nowhere.
You've seen the clip of Ben in the hoodie.
I've only seen like this, what is on my screen currently, which I'm going to share with you real quick. Let me do this so that you can see what I'm seeing. Okay.
Do you see what I see? Oh
okay.
My God.
There it is. And you'll be able to hear it as well.
I've already seen this. It shocked me, but still, the way they look in those hoodies, that they obviously like, they must have picked those up at Michael's and then just iron screen printed on.
Yeah, exactly. It's just weird because like, I don't know. I mean, look, I'm 32 years old, right? Ben is like, I think 37 or something. And I feel like...
Is he 37?
I don't know how old. He is like around that, I think.
Am I older than Ben Shapiro?
Let me see. Oh, he's 40?
I'm gonna be devastated. I'm a little younger, just a little.
Ben Shapiro age. But he's 40. He's actually 40. So here's the thing though. But regardless of your age, like if you did something like this, like the way you carry yourself is different. You know what I mean? Like I feel like the way I carry myself, despite being 32, like is different than the way Ben Shapiro carries himself. Like he's like talking to Ted Cruz about like serious things, right? Like he's a part of the Daily Wire franchise. Like he is a goober, a nerd, right? Like, but not in like a, like, oh, you're interested in something type of way, but like,
right.
Like in the old school way. Like he's kind of a loser, but like also carries himself very seriously. So when he does something like this, I'm like, what the fuck? Like it just feels very out of place. Does that make sense?
And he knows it. He knows it. He knows how sort of like not cool and not hip hop he is, which is why he's really kind of like reveling in this moment. He knows how out of place he is here.
Yeah.
You know, well, and that's sort of the joke, because at the end of the day, like he's kind of just mocking, you know, he doesn't take hip hop seriously. He doesn't take the genre of music seriously. He's here to, you know, sort of look down on everybody, look down his nose at people.
Yeah, which is of course kind of ironic, but I guess he knows his crowd. This got 6.8 million views. First, let's start there. 3 days ago, it's #2 trending on music on YouTube. Okay, right. And there's a lot going on in the music space currently, and it got 6.8 million views in 3 days. And Ben, of course, famously tweeted out a while back that like rap isn't music, and if you disagree, like if you like rap, you're stupid, something along those lines. Of course, here's the
I did a video about that whole thing.
Let me pull it up. Here it is. Fact: rap isn't music, and if you think it is, you're stupid. It's like, oh, thanks, man. Fact: rap isn't music. What a perfect demonstration of Ben Shapiro's entire shtick, by the way. Like calling that a fact is so funny. One, it's false. Two, it's not even a fucking fact. Like, even if you were to try to, like, present it as something, it's, like, completely subjective. Anyway. But he's so self-assured. So, without further ado, I think let's get into it. Let's do it. Let's dive in here. All right, I'm gonna try to not pause this.
They call me offensive, controversial. There's only 2 genders, boys and girls. They can't cancel my message because I'm the biggest independent rapper in the whole freaking world. Claim that I'm racist, yeah, alright. I'm not ashamed because I'm white. If every Caucasian's a bigot, I guess every Muslim's a terrorist, every liberal is right.
Yeah, can you say that? Can you say that? Fantano, can you say that?
Yeah,
is
man.
Is that allowed?
He's gonna get canceled. I'm worried about the guy.
Yeah, no, he can't be, but he can't be because he's the greatest independent artist in the world, I think.
Right, you can't stop his progression.
Yeah. Wait, let me let it.
Oh shit.
Oh my God. Did he just say where are the American flags? You're Canadian. Tom McDonald, you're Canadian. Tom, stop LARPing. You're Canadian. You should be asking, where are the Canadian flags?
It's stolen valor.
I hate that.
As somebody who is born in America, it's stolen valor.
Yeah.
He's cosplaying as somebody who is a true blue, red-blooded patriot. And honestly, it's offensive to me.
Yeah, at most he's an immigrant. Okay, let's just put it that way. All right.
He is.
If we're having a conversation about facts, okay, here are some facts. Okay, we gotta secure the Canadian border. That's it. I'm saying it. We gotta secure the Canadian border. Everybody's looking at the southern border. No one is looking at the northern border. Okay, that's where the Tom McDonald's of the world are coming into America and cosplaying as Americans.
Tom McDonald is coming in. Jordan Peterson is coming in. We need to hit the reset button on this. Reverse it.
Steve Crowder.
Right.
Yeah. Ted Cruz. So many. Too many to count. We really need to do a purge, I think. We need to send him back. All right, let's keep going.
Remember when people would hang those? They've been taken down, they all been replaced with.
Oh, you got to rewind this part. This part's great. This part I do know this part because I've read the bars before.
It's the they claim that I'm racist. Yeah, all right. Wait, where is it?
No, I'm talking about the bar where he's talking about how we used to hang American flags.
Yeah. Where the American
apparently
flags.
We don't do that.
Yeah, remember when people used to hang those? They've been taken down. They've all been replaced with BLM flags or a rainbow. That's bars, man.
There's no more American flags anymore anywhere across the country. It's just a rainbow flag. Yeah.
But you ain't pro-gun, no one to protect it. Where the American flags at? Remember when people would hang those? They've been taken down.
Where the American flags at? Bars.
He's like, yeah, it's all BLM and rainbows now. It's really fucked up. Maybe in Canada, I don't know. Woke ass Canada.
I really want to know where this guy is at, because the thing is, like, I don't see the America when I go outside that he's describing.
I live in West Hollywood. I don't see the rainbow flags or the BLM flags. Like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Okay. Yeah, it's so good.
This ain't money, cars and clothes. We ain't selling drugs. We ain't gonna overdose. We ain't pushing guns. Ain't promoting stripper poles. We won't turn your sons into thugs.
All right, time. What's funny about this is, like, of course, him and also Ben Shapiro as well. They always have to sort of, like, throw in these bars where it's like, yeah, we're not like other hip hop. We're not going to tell you to do drugs and wear expensive clothes and care about money. Like, meanwhile,
he's got Louis Vuitton shades on.
Well, he flexes how successful he is. He's always showing up with, outside of that corny ass, like, ironed hoodie, he's always got some shitty designer on or something. And then on top of that, he's, like, got multiple Second Amendment bars in his song. So how are you not pushing guns on? How are your songs not about guns?
Oh no, it's totally oblivious, because it's like, yeah, someone in the Genius annotation says this line makes no sense because Tom states 2 seconds before this, "You ain't pro-gun. No one to protect it," insinuating that he himself is pro-gun. And what's funny about this, you're absolutely right. It's yet another instance where it's like, no, you don't understand. We're white. Okay? Right. We're not black while holding a gun. That would be fucked up. That's thug shit. So he's just, it's always like, I don't have any politics. I'm just racist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, there has to be this insinuation that other rap music is degenerate in some way, even though he's very much guilty of pushing all the things that he sees as degenerate when people who aren't white are doing it.
Yeah. Oh, God. My favorite type of rap is always talking about how you're a lyrical, mystical, spiritual guy who doesn't rap about the regular stuff that people rap at in music, like hoes. It's just and
also, so far, keep in mind, like, not a single moment where he's attempting to state a fact, and not even by virtue of, like, fact, and then he just blatantly lies after. Like, nothing that he said so far is even trying to be like, oh, you want to hear some facts? Here's some facts, guys.
This is very fact-free. You're absolutely correct. This is just, like, so holeless. Okay, it's so nerdy. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but, like, every time I look at conservative music, the genre can be universally defined as, like, many people will say, like, oh, conservatives can't make good art. They can, whatever. There's debates on it. Who cares? I think there's one universal principle with, like, conservative art in general, is that it is the most holeless ass music on the fucking planet. Okay? There is not a Deborah in sight that you're like, okay, like, these guys got it. These guys locked it down a little bit. I don't know why. I don't know why they just like don't hire people. Anyway,
You know,
I guess what I'm
like,
saying is,
honestly, I'm gonna say I'm gonna counterpoint. I'm gonna counterpoint. Look, there's a breed of women out there who, if you go on the sound on TikTok for this song, like they're probably repping the track, you know, and they've got an America Bear Wolf shirt on. They're posing in front of an American flag. They're breaking a Bud Light bottle.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, they got the worst haircut you've ever seen. I'm seeing how platinum their highlights are right now, just by like the yellow highlights that are coming out underneath the Trump cap, and they got what my friend Sear calls the Paul Mall. Like they sometimes will have like a mole right there, or my favorite, Stormy Daniels has this like a little hole there where they put like, as though it's a beauty mark, they put like a little piercing right there. Like that's the archetype, in my opinion, of like a prime Barbara in the wild. I'll show you in a second. Literally their fan.
I know what you're talking about.
Ben Shapiro has better bars than Eminem has his whole career.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm convinced. Dude, by the way, this guy's coming for your fucking job, brother.
Well, I was just going to say,
28,000 likes.
I'm actually going to start deleting my shit. I can't compete with this.
Yeah, this guy just came in and cleaned house, dude. Step aside, internet's busiest music nerd. Let me tell you, I'm internet's busiest music jock. Okay? Yeah, he's got you. His name is Alex Jones Rules. That's awesome. Okay, let's get back to the song.
I don't care if I offend you.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't.
The way that hits. The way that hook hits. I love how Ben can't even...
What did you say?
Ben can't even... I was going to say, Ben can't even for a split second stand there and look comfortable.
Yeah,
like,
no,
he's got to have his hands like... He's got to have his hands like this, like he's a fucking... like he's a fucking child evil genius. Like he's fucking Dexter's Lab, you know, fully like devising a plan.
I don't think Ben Shapiro's ever worn a hoodie before this moment. Like, he just looks like the type of kid who like definitely wore like a suit to school and had a roller backpack and just got consistently bullied by the other nerds. You know what I mean? Like, that's the vibes that he's putting out. He's just never worn a hoodie. He thinks it's ghetto. It's like thugs wear hoodies. I will never wear a hoodie. That's the type of energy he's got. Dude, there's nothing cooler than a rapper being like, they defunded the police. Now there's nothing to protect the streets.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome. I have something that I want to show you after this.
Well, and also, like, protect you from what? Protect you from Tom McDonald? Or people who think like Tom McDonald? Is it a threat?
Well, this actually kind of dovetails into another genre of conservative rap music that my friend Sierra put me on. His name is Jesse Howard. Have you ever heard of New Breed?
I don't think so, no.
NU Breed and Jesse Howard. Oh, God. I got something phenomenal to show you afterwards. It's basically like the conservative fantasy is that, like, you know how, like, some boys or men will fantasize about, like, thwarting a school shooter or something? You know what I mean? Being in a self-defense style situation.
Sure, you know, a Jason Aldean, try that in a small town type scenario.
Yeah, a lot of, you know, white conservatives who are like suburb fascists, okay, small business fascists that live in the fucking suburbs and gated communities have this fantasy about people breaking and entering into their house as they like blow them away with their shotgun or with an AR-15.
Right.
You know? And that's what this is. It's like, oh, they defunded the police, so the police are not around to protect us from the death squads that are possibly going to come and kill us. Don't know why they have it. Don't know why they think about it, but it's a permanent fear that that is instilled upon them. That, you know, they're coming after the HVAC business owner living in a fucking Texas suburb. But let's continue.
What would Ben do?
You ask yourself what Ben do?
Yeah, he wants to know what Ben would do. He's like, you know, when Tom McDonald is just kind of like living his life and, you know, he sees you know, a trans person kind of just living their life and being regular, and I don't know, using a bathroom that doesn't align with their biological gender. He's like, what would Ben do in this situation?
Yeah. Yeah,
what would
that's
Ben
right.
Shapiro? How would Ben Shapiro handle this?
Ben Shapiro would probably ball up in a roll up in a corner as a little ball and cry in his hoodie. But I hope I offend you. I ask myself, what would Ben do? Let's just keep it real. Facts don't care how you feel, man. And this is, I love the genius annotation. This line, along with the title of the song, is a reference to Ben Shapiro's most famous catchphrase: facts don't care about your feelings. Oh my God, I want to die.
Just keep it real, facts don't care how you feel, man. If you want my pronouns, I'm the man who don't respect. Let's look at the stats. I've got the facts.
Here we go.
Like Liz, my pockets are fat. Homie, I'm epic. Don't be a wap. Dog, it's a yarmulke, homie, no cap. Look at the graphs.
Dog is a yarmulke, homie, no cap.
Yeah.
I think AAVE should now be illegal for white people. I've become a Twitter rad lib. I now agree with the sentiment that if you do AAVE as a white guy, like this genre of white guy, especially if you're like a conservative 40-year-old white man and you try to do AAVE, you're going to jail. Sorry.
You know, look, I understand why, you know, you or other people might be sort of like, you know, you might wince when you hear people advocating for that kind of thing, because you know, it seems maybe like it's going a step too far. It seems like it's kind of unnecessary. It's unfair. But like, think about the fact that it would prevent this. That's kind of a greater good situation. Also,
yeah.
Wait, hold on, time. I have to observe this. Sorry, I'm just like looking at the respective stances and shapes of Ben
He's
Shapiro
white
and Tom
knuckling,
here.
dude.
Okay.
Look at him.
Wait, hold on. Okay, Tom. You know, Tom also, for anybody who doesn't know, used to be like an ex-professional wrestler heel. You know, like D tier, like local tier professional wrestler. So he's kind of standing there, you know, just like normal dude stance.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
I mean, yeah,
that's like the coolest thing I've learned about Tom McDonald.
He's just kind of standing there looking regular. Meanwhile, Ben Shapiro seemingly has like no groin area. It's just his legs poking out from the bottom of the hoodie, like he's, you know, a 2005 scene girl with like, you know, the swoopy hair coming out.
He's also definitely on a soapbox. And you can tell because he's like 5'4".
Yeah, he's not as tall as Tom. He's not as tall as Tom. So you're right. There's definitely something going on there in terms of like making them seem the same height. And yeah, he is really punching his fists into that hoodie, which the sleeves are also scrolled up, you know, scrunched.
I think it's a size too big. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, he's definitely swimming in his dad's hoodie there.
I love
Dad,
it.
Dad, can I borrow your hoodie for this? Can I borrow your hoodie for this?
Yeah,
for this
he
shoot?
looks like he's wearing his boyfriend's hoodie. You know what I mean? It's cool as fuck. It's awesome. Listen, that's the staple Ariana Grande boyfriend hoodie fit. You know what I mean? He's about to go make soup with the arms like all the way out like this. He's like, yeah, facts don't care about your feelings.
He just has the fingers just poking out of the top of the sleeve. Yeah, just fingers poking out of it.
He's cute as hell, bro. He's cute as hell. And I'm sick and tired of acting like he's not cute as hell.
He's adorable in it. Yeah. He's adorable in that hoodie.
Yeah, he is. I don't think that they shot this in the same room, by the way. If I look at the lighting, like,
yeah,
and I look at the focus, like the camera is focused different, the lighting is different. I assume that they just like green screened him in here, which makes this whole thing much funnier.
Yeah.
You're blowing money on strippers and cars. You go into prison and on television.
You're blowing your money on strippers and cars.
Yeah, you're spending your money on strippers and cars. Which, by the way, like, Donald Trump does like half of this shit that they're talking about. Like, which is always so funny. They like ride for him so hard. My money like Lizzo, my pockets are fat is kind of funny. I will say that. That's like.
Also, it's like, you know, it's really a lack of focus on who their intended target is here. Is it, you know, kind of like mamby-pamby liberals who they sort of disagree with ideology, or, you know, who they disagree with ideologically, or, you know, is it other rappers who they view as degenerate? Because those are not the same thing. You know, it's like your average Twitter rad lib is not blowing all of their money on
this is who the target demographic is. Do you want me to show you again? Who do you think the target demographic is?
I mean in terms of who they're attacking.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it's all over the place. There's no like narrative through line here at all, including like what you just mentioned, which is the notion that they are like anti-flexing and then simultaneously talking about how much money they have. My pockets are fat. Right. It's just, oh God. Anyway, this is giving like it's got a distinct VeggieTales energy to it. If it wasn't so like over the top fascist, but like in a cutesy way, I don't know how else to describe it. Like it's the classic, like, oh, maybe in a different world, we could just like try and get people to think that it's cool to not go to prison, right? Like in their minds, maybe there was a brief moment where they thought like they could present a different alternative universe where like people keep flashing guns and talking about drug dealing and making it seem so cool. Maybe we can do the same thing, but in the other direction, right? But then it's so hateful because conservative ideology is so hateful, reactionary ideology is so hateful that it falls flat and it goes in like to multiple different directions at the same time. So it's a rudderless ship, I guess.
Yeah, and it's all just based on sort of like a fear of a thing that you made up, essentially. A world where there's no more American flags and it's just rainbow flags and BLM flags in every direction.
By the way, homie, I'm epic. Don't be a wop. That doesn't make any sense. Like, what do you mean?
No sense whatsoever.
Like a wet ass pussy is good. Like, what is that's not a bad thing. Like,
I mean, as previously stated on Twitter, he seems to be very against WAP.
Yeah,
I think he seems to think it's a problem.
He's like leaning into the idea that like pussies are not meant to be wet. I think
it's something that his wife just told him so that he doesn't feel like insecure about the fact that he doesn't elicit that. She's like, honey, it's supposed to be that way.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. He's like, my wife told me. My doctor wife told me that you're not supposed to be, pussies are not meant to be wet anyway.
She told me it's dry because that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's medically.
Or maybe he was being Italiophobic. You ever think about that? Maybe he wasn't even saying WAP. He was saying like WAP in the like the anti-Italian slur.
Yeah, that's somebody could have misheard that on Genius. That's actually that's a valid point.
Yeah. Just the
I don't stand for that shit.
Yeah, and that's really fucked up. Dog, it's a yarmulke, homie, no cap. This is some clever wordplay on Shapiro's part. He says his yarmulke is not merely a hat, but a significant religious symbol in Judaism. This point is nuanced by the use of the vernacular phrase "no cap" to indicate that he is indeed professing the truth.
Not to give. Yeah, I don't even want to give Ben credit on that. And look, not to portray Tom McDonald here as like a god tier lyricist, but like
That's kind of a good line.
I'm pretty sure Tom Ghost wrote this for him. No way Ben wrote this shit.
I don't think even Tom Ghost wrote it. I think someone else, like they got someone else to write this part because it is like
who else would they get to write it?
This is not a bad line. It's just like when delivered by Ben, it's just awful. You know who I would expect it from? Who's that like the Orthodox Jewish rapper that I saw that he was like I think I saw it on like Shade Room or something. Like he was there's a new not Matisyahu Chatters and not Lil Dicky either.
It could be. I don't know if this is the same guy you're talking about. I don't think it is, but there's also that BLP Kosher guy.
BLP Kosher. Yeah.
No, that's most definitely a BLP Kosher line. And
that's what I mean.
And honestly, the dude has so many songs and has spit so many bars. He probably has done that line. That's probably not an even original line.
That's what I'm talking about. Like I feel like it's something that I would hear from him and go like, "Oh, that's funny." Whereas like when it comes from Ben Shapiro with his delivery is so bad. It's just so unimaginably bad. All right, let's get back to it.
Knows who you are. Keep hating on me on the internet. My comment section all woke Karens. And I make racks off compound interest. Y'all live with your parents.
I make racks off compound interest. Y'all live with your parents. and my comment section is filled with woke Karens.
Woke Karens.
It's so bad. First of all, his comment section is not woke Karens. His comment section is literally all like dudes that are sitting in their fucking F-150, just angry as hell, like 3 steps away from dying to heart disease, just getting angry with their skin-tight Oakleys on, screaming about the exact same shit that Ben is screaming about on a daily basis. Anyway, but yeah. Another incredible bar. I make racks off compound interest. This is literally like the meme about backpack rappers, I feel like. Like, I feel like he is leaning into it.
He's appropriating backpack rap valor.
Yeah. Y'all live with your parents.
While also blowing all of your money on strippers and cars.
Yeah.
Nicki, take some notes. I just did this for fun. All my people download this. Let's get a Billboard #1.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, he didn't even put juice in that. Come on, dude. You put your hand up like, at least like he looks like he's being puppeteered by someone. Like he looks like a marionette, or like you do look at the way he puts his hand up.
Let's get a Billboard #1.
#1. No, he's doing it like he's making a point on a podium during, you know, like a speaking gig at a college, and he's like, actually, the fact of the matter is,
I just don't know how someone can be so rizzless. Like, it's just like he has reached new levels of this. Like he's doing compound interest on the opposite anti-Riz side. Okay. Yeah, I love the call to action in the song though. That's how you know the song is good. When you have to like get your audience activated to go and download the song so you can be on the iTunes charts, which is of course very easily manipulated by right-wing people all the time.
It also just comes across as dated because the vast majority of people are not downloading music anymore. It's not what they're doing.
Yeah, they're streaming it. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like my people, you could say my people stream this, but you know, Tom McDonald's fan base is one of the only fan bases dumb enough to like en masse buy the song, buy the music every single time it comes out.
Yeah, it's what do you call it? It's oh my God. This entire thing is, now we're going to get into the Nicki side in a second, but this entire thing is so funny because like the iTunes charts are specifically designed for people who are still buying ringtones. Okay, that's it. That's the only, like, who do you know in your life, chat? Think about it. Do you know a single person in your life that has ever been like, oh man, this album is so sick. I can't wait to go to iTunes and purchase it and download it. Like, I don't know a single person. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, he also calls out Nicki a little bit, which I guess you know, it will reveal itself in a second.
#1.
This ain't rap, this ain't money, cars and clothes. We ain't selling drugs, we ain't gonna overdose. We ain't pushing guns, ain't promoting stripper poles. We won't turn your sons into thugs or your daughters into hoes. I don't care if I offend you. I was put here to upset you. You can cry and you can scream, you can riot in the streets. You defunded the police, now there's no one to protect you. I hope I offend you. I ask myself what would Ben do. Let's just keep it real, facts. Don't care how you feel, man. If you want my pronouns, I'm the man who don't respect you.
I don't know if it's like nostalgia or not, but I miss like old school conservatism that would look at a guy like this with face tattoos and be like, I'm not hiring you. Like, get out of my establishment.
Right, exactly.
Like
it's just funny when I see people like him or people like, you know, the Forgiato guy.
Yeah.
Repping is hard for the ideology that they are, because it wasn't that long ago where, you know, friends of mine from maybe even a variety of different ideological backgrounds or walks of life would just be completely written off because, oh, you have a tattoo? Why is it? What's that on your neck? Why do you have a tattoo here? Why do you have a tattoo there? Da 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 da. You know, basically like completely unfucking ployable because whatever it is about you is completely undercut by the fact that there's ink under some parts of your skin.
Yeah, one thing that I also must mention here is that these guys like basically are infinitely less edgy than like the most tame rapper out there. You know what I mean? Because like their entire shtick is that like, oh, I'm offending you. Am I offensive? While they're rapping about like, please give more money to the police officers, sir. Like, please fund your local police benevolence foundation. You might get a nifty little sticker that will come in handy next time you get pulled over for speeding. Like, that's not like, there's nothing edgy about what you are saying, right? Like,
well,
you
also
can't
just like edginess as a marketing thing, edginess as an aesthetic, like is no longer relevant in any current day scene of music. It's just not. I mean,
yeah, this is like Marilyn Manson, like early 2000s era, where they're like, "Ooh, look how weird this guy looks. Look how creepy he looks."
And when it was relevant as a mode of artistic expression in the mainstream and whatever genre it was being employed in, like it mostly was offending conservatives.
Yeah,
you know, whether you're talking about the way that Madonna or Prince like paraded themselves on stage sexually, or you're talking about, you know, the gender bent ways that guys in hair metal used to present themselves, or like you just said, like in hair metal. But these days, like young audiences aren't really fazed or shocked by much of anything, and neither are their parents, many of whom are Gen Xers and grew up with that era of music and now just sort of like, you know, don't really see anything all that weird or outlandish about it. And the only sort of group of people now that are kind of like desperately clinging on to shock value as like, you know, an artistic currency are people like Tom McDonald and people who are conservatives who are kind of, you know, just like anything else, boxing themselves into a fantasy where like every single thing that comes out of their mouths is like causing women with blue hair and piercings in their face to scream their brains out and cry and have a temper tantrum.
Here's a testament to exactly what you said, that like edginess is no longer like in vogue or marketable in that same vein. Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X, in my opinion, tries to do this very same thing, but like there was a universality. It wasn't just like directed by conservatives to like get mad at someone like very clearly, you know, invoking the imagery of Jesus Christ or like sucking off Satan or whatever, right? Like that kind of stuff, I feel like used to get mainstream attention from everyone, like from both sides of the political spectrum. You would see it in like local news, like are kids going to Satan? Like are kids joining satanic cults? Things of that nature, right? And Lil Nas X did that, right? And the only people that got mad about it were like conservatives for a brief moment, and we moved on immediately. Same with him like coming back and being like, oh, I love Jesus. And now I'm actually throwing it back for Jesus. Like it doesn't have that same like mainstream appeal, or it doesn't have that like mainstream movement. But it's especially funny when you got these guys who are the guys who get mad at that sort of shit, being like, am I offending you? Look at me. I'm living a sober lifestyle. Is that offensive to you? Look at me having a wife and children. I bet that's offensive to you. It's like, no, it's not, brother. Like, that's just normal. That's the norm. You know. Anyway.
No, it's true. You know, they want to believe that like that you just leading a normal life is an affront to quote unquote liberals who, for whatever reason, can't handle them just like kind of doing what they want to do. Like nobody's trying to keep you from just having a wife and kids. Nobody really cares.
Yeah.
Like you know, like if that's really how you want to live your life, like it's not under threat, quote unquote. Like nobody's stopping you from doing it.
No, you don't understand. The nanny state is making it illegal to have a wife and kids. Like you don't get it. You know?
You know what they're upset about is that they see other people embracing other options and alternative paths in life, and that sort of makes them feel like their world is under threat, because the only thing that maintains it is that everybody just sort of accepts it as what they should just kind of do and just not question it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. You mad. I guess it's cool to
you mad.
I'ma be the man. You sad. You just try to get it.
Has he always had this many face tattoos? I feel like they've gotten like
worse,
hideously cluttered and worse all over the side of his fucking head.
Yeah, I do love, like I said, I do love the idea of like someone promoting traditional values while looking like this, though. It's like,
right?
He literally, I mean, he looks like he's, you know, white Tekashi 69 or something, and he's just like, yeah, you mad libtards? That's right. I would never get an abortion. Like, I live in a nice little suburb. Yeah, I bet that fucking triggers you so much. You get so mad about that.
You mad, you mad, you mad. You blame everybody else for every problem that you can. You sad, you sad, you sad. I will never say I'm sorry, I ain't taking nothing back.
No, say sorry.
No! Apologize! No! Apologize now! Say sorry now!
You can riot in the streets, you defunded the police. Now there's no one to protect you. I hope I offend you. I ask myself, what would Ben do?
What would Ben do?
Let's just keep it real facts. Don't care how you feel, man. If you want my pronouns, I'm the man who don't respect you.
And put in my chat said, he looks like they combined both members of The Antwoord. True. Exactly.
Also, what would Ben do as opposed to what would Jesus do? That sounds a little blasphemous.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking as well. Video by Nova Rockefeller. Absolute fire, absolute banger. What rating did you give this? Did you give this a rating?
Oh yeah, I mean, I give it a 10 out of 10. It's better than Kendrick's Pimp a Butterfly. It's better than anything Jay-Z ever put out. Honestly, I'm just excited for this guy to turn up on multiple tracks on the upcoming Kanye album. I mean, that's where this is all inevitably headed.
Oh God. Oh my Lord.
This guy's gonna be on Vultures volumes 1, 2, and 3. Multiple features.
He's producing. He's co-producing it. Finally, some real talent. So moving on from this beautiful work of art, okay, this symphony that was put together. Now that we dissected some of the lyrics and the deep meaning behind it, let's talk about what happened afterwards. So Ben Shapiro, let me see. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. I'm trying to find my tweet on it. Ben Shapiro basically looked at the iTunes charts like the fucking boomer that he is, right? And turned around and said, "Hey, Megan, at the Stallion, we're coming for thee." Okay, he did a little pun there too. God,
we're coming for thee.
Yeah, we're coming for thee. And then underneath it, because at the time things were heating up between Megan the Stallion and Nicki Minaj, I assume like Ben Shapiro at the Daily Wire like clued him in on this to tweet about this. You know what I'm talking about? What is there?
I know exactly.
Brett Cooper probably was like, "Hey Ben, you would pop off if you actually, fucking, said this, right?"
And then Ben said, they're beefing, are they?
Yes. So that is precisely what he did. He added Nicki Minaj said, "Also, at Nicki Minaj is correct about your flow." Yeah. And normally in other circumstances, you would expect Nicki Minaj, who is like a media demon herself, who completely is aware of all this shit, to like not, I guess, eat the bait. But all it took in this weak moment for her was someone adding her and shitting on Megan the Stallion.
Hey, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
For Nicki Minaj.
Yeah. 24 hours later. Yeah. 24 hours later.
Ben Shapiro.
There it is. I just listened to it at Ben Shapiro. Not bad. Congrats on number 1, but it definitely sounds like Roman's Revenge when the beat first came in. ... I don't know.
Yeah, it's they're copying you, Nicki. Tom McDonald was like, "Oh, we really need this to sound like this Nicki Minaj track." I feel like that would be the vibe.
Yeah. So this leads me into our other subject that I briefly wanted to talk about here, but Nicki Minaj versus Megan Thee Stallion. Have you talked about this yet on your show or on your YouTube?
We got a video coming out about it today.
Okay. Well, don't give all of your takes in here in one try. We'll promo it.
I'll say this. It's coming out youtube.com/Fantano. Should be dropping at some point today. I feel like right now Nicki's in. The tables have turned. there used to be a time back in the day when Nicki was beefing heavily, when there weren't a whole lot of options as far as like, female rapper ops. She was mostly just kind of going at Lil Kim, and they were going back and forth and sort of like were at each other's throats constantly. And at that point, as they were beefing, Lil Kim was obviously on the downturn and on the way out. And Nicki looked like this, bright, shiny new toy, looked exciting, looked young, looked creative, looked bold, looked cool in comparison with Kim. And I feel like now that she's like completely shook and insufferably insecure in reaction to just some of the stuff Megan is doing, now she looks like the Lil Kim of the situation. Megan looks like, the new voice, the new wave, who's slowly replacing her. And it's not even just about Megan, because there's loads of different rappers out there now that you can listen to if, you're looking for a strong female voice who's, empowered and so on and so forth, But Nicki is kind of just throwing stones from a glass house and looking like she doesn't really know how to handle the shifting paradigm at the moment with more competition. She just doesn't really know how to not be petty and not be jealous.
Yeah. Beyond that, I feel like, look, she's obviously carved out a place for herself as like a legendary artist in this space, and being dominant for so many years. But this is like real desperate. I feel like adding Ben Shapiro and being like, and even saying like, not bad to Ben Shapiro's lyrics. She's joking for sure, but like, it comes across so sweaty and so
it's not even just about Ben, because if you look at her entire Twitter feed, she is responding to positively or retweeting or platforming in some way, shape, or form every single piece of over the top positive delusional feedback that she's been getting about this beef and this song that she's just come out with. And it's clear through the Ben Shapiro endorsement that she doesn't really care about where this praise is coming from, as long as it's praise. As long as it's praise, it's like, oh, look who says my song is good. Look who says I'm right about Megan the Stallion. It's like, okay, well, clearly this guy is just saying that to, Ben's not, not to be too flattering, but Ben's a smart guy. He knows how you get to, get in the good graces of a guy like Trump, a total narcissist. You fucking slob on his knob, you give him compliments, you talk about how he's great, and you paint him in a light where he's right. And Nicki doesn't operate that much differently. She loves the praise. She loves people who stan. She loves people who talk about her uncritically and don't have not one single negative thing to say. And now, of course, as a result of that, she's like, fuck this other rapper who's a professional, and is actually my competition and is doing a lot of great music in my field. She's trash. She's one flow. But Ben Shapiro, I heard that song of yours. Not too bad, Ben. Pretty impressed. Maybe you can be on my next album.
I think it's wild because like if we were to move away from the Ben Shapiro aspect of this and like go into Megan a little bit, like there is no way that all of these black female rappers that came out weren't Nicki Minaj fans in their
they all were
in their adolescence, like when they were growing up, right? So like it's so weird to have this person that you look up to that like defined the space that you're now in, collaborate with you, and then turn on you and just become like this demon.
Yeah, Megan welcomed Nicki with open arms when it came to them collaborating. And honestly, as somebody who's been watching Nicki's progression for a long time, and a lot of people who have been huge fans of hers, but maybe didn't so much like the fact that she historically has been so hostile to new female rappers who have been coming up underneath her. The Megan thing was kind of exciting because it was like, okay, wait, maybe the tide might turn, and Maggie and maybe Nicki will start like playing with the girls a bit nicer now, and everything will be like cool, and she'll like embrace this new wave. Because as long as you just kind of jump in the water and swim, with all of these artists who fucking love you to death and copy you to death, there's going to be room for you. There's going to be a home for you. Like, people are going to keep praising you and celebrating your legacy. But instead, she has kind of made herself the opposition to a lot of these newer artists, or has written them off in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like it's kind of slowly becoming the death of her, because she doesn't want to look at this as like, you know, kind of a collective thing where everybody can succeed. She wants to be the queen. She wants to be number one. She wants to be forever the best. She wants to be on the throne, and nobody else can sit there.
Yeah.
And anybody else who's kind of like, you know, coming up or doubling or tripling their numbers over time is a threat to that. And she needs to kind of snuff them out. So it's just sort of unfortunate that you can't, you know, get over that obsession with being in that spot to just kind of make room for other people.
Yeah. And all of this started, like this latest episode of the saga started, I believe, I guess it was like even before Hiss came out. Hiss is Megan Thee Stallion's latest song, right? Where she makes statements about not like completely directly shooting at Nicki Minaj.
It's a subliminal.
Yeah, it's a really solid bar. These hoes don't be mad at Megan. These hoes mad at Megan's law, federal law in the United States that requires law enforcement to make information available to the public regarding registered sex offenders. Is like a direct shot, well, not a direct shot, but a subtle shot towards Nicki Minaj, because Nicki Minaj, for those of you who don't know, is married to Kenneth Perry, a registered sex offender who pled guilty at age 16 to attempted rape. In July 2022, he was sentenced to a year of house arrest for failing to register at his new address after moving with Minaj to California. There's a bunch of other charges as well. Nicki Minaj's brother, I think also, if I'm not mistaken, has one of Nicki Minaj's brothers also is in prison for raping an 11-year-old, his stepdaughter,
for sexual abuse. And
yeah,
you know, the with her husband, you know, the Cardi B beef is not really sort of settled, because he ended up under house arrest again for threatening, you know, her husband, Offset.
Yeah.
On camera. You know, they were just sort of making open, violent threats to him and his buddies. And, you know, he just sort of ended up under house arrest again. So it's like, you know, clearly there's still a there, because Nicki would very much like to kind of like alter the narrative around why her and Megan don't get along. Because, I mean, I think anybody with two brain cells to rub together can, you know, noticeably see that her attitude toward Megan sort of soured after she did that song with Cardi B, WAP, and, you know, got so big and it got so huge, and it made them, you know, even more kind of like the new faces of this current wave of women in rap. And, you know, but of course, that would look too obviously petty from Nicki's end. And she has to sort of make it seem as if like there was some kind of like behind the scenes betrayal that made her hate Megan. And that's why, you know, she's like going against her at this point. It's not over Cardi B. It's not over jealousy. It's not over pettiness. It's because Megan's just a bad person. And she slept with a lot of men.
Yeah, that was like a lot of like the anti. First of all, I will say this much, you know, I am a little bit of a hot girl. Okay. I said this before. It's like such a lame way to admit this, but like at Coachella, I saw Megan Thee Stallion perform live, and I'm not exactly a big fan of music, nor am I a big fan of live music at all.
Yeah, you famously hate music in person.
I don't listen to music at all, usually. But I will say this much: when I saw Megan Thee Stallion perform live, I was captivated by her onstage presence, by her charisma. Like I got it in a way, if that makes sense. Where I was like, damn, okay, I understand what the fuck's going on here. Like she's very powerful. She is definitely a stallion, is what I'll say. So outside of that, I have obviously like duked it out with DJ Academics. I debated him on the trial of Tory Lanez, where a lot of the anti Megan rhetoric basically revolved around just simply slut shaming. Like it was devoid of the facts of the matter, and more so was just like, well, you know, she's slept around with a lot of people, which makes it additionally, I mean, it's like a very misogynistic line that I understand when like PUA guys do it, but it's like additionally odd when you're Nicki Minaj and you're doing it, because like that's kind of an attack that has been launched against you by even the likes of Ben Shapiro, that you're promoting promiscuity, that you're like a bad person, that you yourself are like she's been slut shamed. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of projection throughout the new song from Nicki against Meg. There's the bar where she's talking about her humping on a minor, which nobody sort of seems to know what that's about. But Nicki has been on video twerking on a 13-year-old. There's also the fact that she's kind of going at Megan for allegedly lying about her liposuction. Meanwhile, like few women in rap have undergone as many physical, alterations, have gone under the, plastic surgery knife as many times as Nicki, which is fine if you want to do that, but how are you going to shame other women for doing the same? There's just a lot of like trying to attack Megan over things that Nicki provably does or has engaged in. But, to your point, the bulk of it sort of seems to be like, well, you've fucked a lot of guys, which like, when you think about it in the abstract, is that as shameful as just continuing to fuck one guy who's a rapist? As long as you are having a bunch of relations with people consensually, is that as big of a deal as,
Yeah, it's very odd. It's like the counter to like Megan's Law as a line is to turn around and be like, well, I'm gonna slut shame you, even though I have been on the receiving end of slut shaming my entire career as Nicki Minaj.
And body shame you too, because I don't know, you're tall.
And that's
like,
like
your feet are big and stuff.
Yeah, she said like you have big feet, and so one of the things that actually really popped off in this process was does anyone have that TikToker? Do I have it lined up over here somewhere? Where there was a TikToker who was like a former barb, I guess, who had to like delete his entire.
Oh yeah, is that Bela Town or Bela? I know who you're talking about. I saw that video.
Yeah.
Now this creator was recently doxxed by Nicki Minaj fans after making this video.
Okay, guys, give me the OG video instead of this like 2-minute one. But yeah, this person was like a former barb, I guess, and it was like, was doing a big call out against.
And he is actually like at one point was a massive Nicki Minaj fan, genuinely. I've done a lot of videos on TikTok where I sort of like will react to people's music takes and favorite lists and so on and so forth. And he's regularly come out with a song list like, these are my top songs of all time. And it'll be like completely insane in terms of like the variety of music covered on these lists. But like he's a big pop fan and most definitely a big Nicki fan.
Yeah, here it is.
To date, the self-proclaimed queen of rape has spent the past 24 hours deflecting from the fact that her husband is a convicted sexual predator who is not allowed near public parks or elementary schools by making fun of Megan the Stallion for getting shot, as well as referring to her as Bigfoot. It's always amusing to me how Nicki Minaj immediately jumps to making fun of other people's appearances, as if she didn't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in 2008 getting illegal Craigslist butt injections from some guy in his basement. And not just that, she lied about it for 10 years and only confessed after her ass cheeks were visibly deflating in public and everybody could already tell. And listen, I'm not at all reveling in the fact that she's a terrible person. I was a very big Nicki Minaj fan growing up. Ask anybody who went to middle school with me. I loved her so much I would defend her to anybody who would listen. I saw her doing that, I'm gonna put her in it, and I was like, finally some real music. However, around 2018, when she started intentionally surrounding herself with sex offenders, I kind of fell off the wagon. She was announcing her associations with them faster than she was dropping new music. And it's always especially humorous to me when I see Nicki Minaj as well as her fans attempt to defend her by saying, you only attack the men she associates with for being sexual predators because you don't have anything on her. I beg to differ, Barbs. Because not only are we talking about a woman who once gave a lap dance to a 13-year-old boy, we're talking about a woman who once made a song with a then 16-year-old little twist, in which she says these lyrics. In conclusion, yeah, she's going to hell. Let's hope all that silicone doesn't release too many toxic fumes while she's burning.
So, the barbs have been like basically doing like a full-blown operation, trying to run everyone that has said anything about Nicki Minaj offline as aggressively as possible since all of this stuff sparked up again. Where, I mean, they have no chill. Like they will dox you. Like I've duked it out with the bars before, and it is. I mean, I feel like it's like just held together by pure delusion at this point of just like not wanting to take a deep breath and like look at the situation and maybe hope what's best for Nicki Minaj, which would probably be to take a chill pill, take a step back, really reevaluate what's going on, and I don't know, just tap out a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've had the barbs go at me recently as well because I reviewed Nicki's new album Pink Friday, which you know, for even somebody who's just been a casual fan of Nicki Minaj, like it's pretty obvious, pretty you know, clear that that album does not even begin to hold a fucking candle to the original Pink Friday. It doesn't really celebrate the weird futuristic pop and rap fusions that made that album such a unique and, you know, interesting force at the time that it came out. And there were some of them kind of going at me online with like some shared clips of my review, where I noted the fact that like, it's funny that Nicki hates a lot of these newer up and coming female rappers, but simultaneously on this new record of hers, like she brings on and embraces some of the sounds that they recently have helped kind of make trendy. You know, so in a way, it's almost as if like in order to kind of stay relevant or stay on top of things, she can't really live without them because, you know, she sort of needs the, you know, the youthful and relevant sounds, the hip sounds that they're generating, but simultaneously doesn't want to embrace them, doesn't want to bring them on her records, doesn't want to help them come up and, you know, get some spotlight as well.
Yeah. There's also the other side, obviously, of like the full-blown offensive that Nicki Minaj has also definitely highlighted. She went on a like spree of like doxing Megan the Stallion's producer. I believe the barbs doxed like Megan the Stallion's deceased mother's like headstone, like talking about defacing it and whatnot. And like, obviously there is definitely a degree of like, well, a degree of culpability in these sorts of situations, but sometimes people do go above and beyond and you can't really control your fan bases and whatnot. But like leaning into it as openly and aggressively as Nicki Minaj has been rather interesting. And I do think that as someone who's like always in the crosshairs and someone who is prone to emotional outbursts himself, I kind of understand what it's like when you feel like everyone's coming after you, but you know, you just can't really lean into that. You can't really lean into that because you're just, you know, you're in a death spiral at that point.
Yeah, you know, for anybody who hasn't really been paying attention, like the reason Nicki Minaj has this kind of fan base is because she embraces it. Because as you said, even if it's not like in the most overt ways, like the types of people who will do these things or make these statements, she doesn't tell them to calm down. She retweets their tweets. She likes their tweets. She loves to hop on live and speak exactly to them. Like, meanwhile, you know, any artist of her size could have an equally psychotic, violent, or, you know, reactionary fan base willing to do anything and anything, everything and anything to protect you, you know, quote unquote, so to speak. But, you know, the thing is that people like Eminem, people like even Megan the Stallion or Cardi B, as crazy as she can get online with how she interacts with her fan base, you know, don't drive their fans to act that way. Don't, you know, don't call upon their fans like, you know, like their little death squad to retaliate against anyone who goes against them. You know, the reason the barbs act that way is because they're encouraged to act that way, because Nicki positively reacts to them when they're acting that way.
Yeah, it's like, the thing is, if like Taylor Swift was doing this, right, like leaning into this as aggressively in all the worst aspects, as aggressively as Nicki Minaj is,
most definitely, and she could.
And she could, and like to a certain degree, there's like a lot of like the QAnon style like breadcrumbs that like Taylor Swift loves like putting in her music and like in her album reveals and stuff. It's like a fun little game. Which by the way, I'm not like equating it to QAnon at all. Oh my god, I don't want the Swifties to come after me either. Holy shit, I would die. But like it's nowhere near to the same degree as like leaning into the parasocial nature of this relationship and weaponizing it. My point is, if Taylor Swift wanted to do this, she could literally start a genocide. Like at that magnitude, at that
Taylor
level,
she could do a Heaven's Gate cult.
Yeah, no, literally, like she could end or start conflicts, is what I'm saying, like global conflicts. And
it would actually be Tim Pool level civil war.
Yeah, like what Tim Pool fantasizes about, but like in real life, this is now happening. So I mean, it's kind of dangerous and kind of scary when you think about it. Like the amount of like doxing that is that's happening so willy nilly and you know so frivolously, I guess, and death threats and all of that stuff. So I don't know. I don't know where this will go inevitably, but I've always been a firm believer that at the end of the day, if your output is consistent and good, then fans won't care. Like they will still rally around you. And I guess the major problem here for Nicki Minaj is that her output has also diminished. I listen to, like I said, I'm not like a big music head at all, right? But I listened to parts of the diss track that she seemingly haphazardly released with a shit ton of AI art, like, you know, portraying Megan the Stallion as a monkey, like a hairy ape, or I guess a Bigfoot, not a monkey, but a Bigfoot. And all this stuff, you know, talking about how big her feet are. And I don't know. I feel like the song is not that good. Overall.
Yeah, it's I mean, again, I'll say more about it in the video, but yeah, it's pretty disappointing. I mean, you know, you were saying that you don't really know what direction all this is going in. I mean,
can I correct something? Sorry, someone said that that screenshot was fake. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, the Bigfoot screenshot was fake. Not the actual feet stamp, but the Bigfoot drinking Henny with a straw or something. That was fake. Even though she does keep calling her Bigfoot, chat.
She does. So yeah, I mean, theoretically, I think Nicki has made it clear at least where she would like for this to go, because on the diss track, she makes a few pretty concrete threats as to like what she's going to do. You know, says like if there isn't like an apology in 24 hours, that she's going to be releasing more tracks and putting more stuff out, saying that if Megan so much as breathes wrong, or does anything in reference to her past this point, or inflames this further, she's going to be dropping all the receipts that she could possibly drop, that she's been collecting info on her for, you know, X amount of time. And so I think Nicki's really looking to kind of like escalate this. I guess it's just kind of a matter of whether or not she really does have more information and songs, much better songs, I would hope, locked and loaded, or if she's just kind of bluffing.
Yeah. There's like the whisper part. I don't know. Like musically, I can't.
Yeah, the whisper part was weird as fuck. Was demented. Was legitimately demented.
Minaj alludes to an incident of apparent sexual assault inflicted upon a minor, delivered with a sad bit of irony as Minaj's track comes in direct response to a bar from Megan Thee Stallion's diss track, Hiss, which takes aim at Minaj's husband, a registered sex offender. Further, Minaj's brother, Jelani Mirage, was charged in 2020 with predatory sexual assault on a minor after raping his 11-year-old stepdaughter. As for Minaj herself, circulated clips filmed at one of her concerts show her giving an underage fan a lap dance on stage, a 13-year-old boy. Coupled with this instance are lyrics from a now deleted from the internet collaboration with then 16-year-old rapper Little Twist, Old Enough remix, where she raps, "You like Hooters? Look at these Hooters. I want to ride you on the back of your scooter. I'll get you real smart without a tutor." Odd that like she, you know, pointed in that direction at all, considering how much more openings she has specifically in that field.
Again, it's Glass House, and it's really confusing because the thing is, like, the internet doesn't miss, man. Like, you know, when it comes to beef, when it comes to getting petty, when it comes to tearing people down, especially when they're like, you know, on so high of a pedestal, you know, dirt comes out about you real fucking fast. I mean, you already know. So the thing is, like, this bar just has so many people scratching their heads because they have no fucking earthly idea, neither do I, as to what Nicki could possibly be referencing in terms of, like, what is this time or this example that you know of where Megan the Stallion was involved with, humping on, sleeping with whatever, somebody who was 17, 16, 15 while she was a legal adult? When did this happen? Who was it? You seem to have, like, this, you know, if you actually look deeper into the song, she already has this sort of, like, you know, working list of every guy in rap who she knows or wants to allege that she's had sex with at some point. But who is this unnamed minor person that she's sleeping with that you know about, that somehow every other person on the internet, even with hours and hours to sort of, like, you know, look it up and post it somewhere or annotate it on social media or on Genius somewhere, nobody's been able to scrounge up? You know, what is this inside baseball that you have that nobody else seems to?
She's going full-blown conservative, and conservatives love projection. That's what I think. That's my suspicion here, which is,
well,
like...
And also, like, I feel like, given that, like, if you've been watching Nicki on Twitter or on Instagram prior to the release of this track, nearly nothing she says here is new information, because she's either been tweeting it out already, or it's just stuff that people already generally know about Megan the Stallion, so little to none of it really comes as a shock. So, you know, because she's shown so little restraint in response to this, you know, one fucking bar on the song, it leads me to believe that if she did actually have that kind of information, she would have tweeted it out instantly, or it would have actually made it into the song, as opposed to just, like, kind of throwing out a weird random allegation. I don't think Nicki has the restraint to save more damning info for another 2 or 3 songs. I feel like if she wanted to destroy Megan and eliminate her as competition, she probably would have done it before this whole beef thing even bubbled up.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But like I said, overall, it has to be good. The product has to be good at the end of the day. If it's not, then, you know, this is going to be kind of a scary spiral where it goes out with a bang until it all just collapses in and of itself. And the people that remain on her side, in spite of, like, you know, all of her actions here, which come across relatively unhinged, I feel like are just going to become even worse and worse. Hopefully nothing truly horrible happens. You know, but it is wild how we have, like, in some ways normalized, like, doxing, swatting, all this kind of behavior online. Like, we just kind of know, like, oh yeah, no, if you say something about Nicki Minaj, like, the barbs are going to come after you. They're going to fucking dox you. They have no chill. They're going to try to DDoS you. You know, they're going to try to do everything they can to, like, make your life a living hell. And ultimately, no matter what, all of that, one, will very likely turn normal people away from your content. So it has, like, the worst aspect. It has, like, the exact opposite. Like, you don't want that kind of association with your music. But then beyond that, I feel like, I mean, I guess that's it. It's just like you don't want your content to be associated with, like, your fandom being absolutely crazy.
No, it's true. I mean, this will be the last thing that I say before I head out. But as far as, like, Megan past this point, I feel like it could go either way. I think that she has the option at this point of, like, just saying absolutely positively nothing and seeing benefit of even that, because it's Nicki who's spiraling at this moment. It's Nicki who's making a fool of herself. It's Nicki who's showing herself, you know, as desperate, because the thing is, like, you know, good quality hip hop beef, I think, like, requires you to respond in kind. And the thing is, like, you can argue about whether or not Nicki's been successful in her efforts, but like, regardless of how much you agree or disagree with anything she's doing, it's definitely fucking overkill. Over a single bar, which you could argue, or a couple of bars that you could argue was just done in kind to the fact that Nicki had random shots for Megan on her new album. Megan just responded with a few shots on her new song. That's fair game. That's fine. But Nicki wants to act like it was Megan who fired first, and it's tweets, it's IG lives, it's a whole song, and also allegations that there are more songs to come. Nicki is just completely going out of control and just, melting down over just like a few lines. So I feel like it's only driving more attention toward Megan, only driving more attention to the song she's reacting to, in general. And I feel like,
and she's aware of it. She's like talking about how like she's doing promo for her as well.
She is. Megan doesn't need to do anything, again, to see the benefit of this, but I feel like it could also be interesting if she sort of past this point calls Nicki's bluff and says, okay, whatever information you think you have, whatever better, more devastating songs you feel like you have, do it, pull the trigger, let her rip.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not like low effort beef, you know what I mean? Or it's not even even if it's like high effort beef, like there's a stink associated with it. I don't know. Like the revelation that Drake had a child is what I think about a lot in the back and forth, right? Like that was huge, but even then I feel like didn't get as gnarly. Or maybe it is the misogyny in me speaking, that when I see women duking it out, I have a different reaction to it. I'm sure that could possibly play a role in this, because I'm like analyzing it. But
I think Drake's a lot more sort of like afraid of kind of coming off in the way that Nicki is currently. And that's why when things heated up with the Adidon song, he called in a few favors and had the whole beef called off and had it all ended and created a situation where the ref came in and it's like, okay, come on guys, we can't do this. This isn't cool. I mean, Drake is afraid of taking an L. Drake's afraid of having an angry, upset, emotional reaction in the sort of way that Nicki is displaying right now.
Which,
I mean, you can talk about
you've had personal experiences with that, as a matter of fact, in what I consider to be one of the funniest things, one of the most graceful things you've ever done, ironically, was to make it seem like Drake was just simply talking to you about something so normal that he personally revealed was actually making him look so much worse. But I do think that in the Pusha T circumstance, like him taking that L and eating it didn't actually change the direction of his career all that much. If I'm not like, you know what I mean? Like he kept the throne of being like pop.
It didn't,
like being
because
a pop
the thing
star.
is, like, Drake's success and Drake's career isn't really dependent on him appealing to traditional hip hop norms in terms of like being the most cunning, the most lyrical, the most willing to destroy your competition. He has a pop appeal, and that's it. As long as he makes music that appeals to a pop audience, but has enough of a hip hop aesthetic to it that you could qualify it as rap music, it works. But yeah, I mean, if Megan did respond, I feel like she wouldn't even need to go any further to, I don't know what, dig up dirt on Nicki to kind of make it, actually sting. Like, she really just needs to respond to the fact that Nicki is completely spiraling out of control and losing her mind over this whole situation. It really only needs to be that if she does actually end up doing it.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I wish everyone involved in this the very best. I always say this, and I mean it. I wish all the stands the very best. I hope
everybody.
What's up?
I was going to say, I hope everybody gets some therapy. Hope everybody sees a vast improvement in their mental health over the next year.
It does feel like the ball's in Megan's court, and like even like a minor reference to Nicki's age or something could just like completely cause her to erupt even further. Like, there are so many openings here. Like, you don't even have to go super hard. I feel like she's doing it to herself at this point, and it comes from the real. What's up?
No, she doesn't. I feel like Nicki is essentially, with this whole meltdown, been just like, pouring gasoline all over herself over the past couple of days. And I feel like if Megan really wanted to, she could just throw a match on her and it would be like over.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just, I mean, I don't know. It's sad. I in a weird way, despite my own personal feelings, I do see a little bit of myself in the way that Nicki's behaving in some very weird, odd way. Like, I get where she's like, I know the motivation behind her behavior. It's just like when you feel like you've been a dominant force in this space, and then you feel like, you know, she feels like people are coming after her. Like she no longer has it. You know what I mean? She no longer has the same relevance, and she's just like lashing out because she feels like the entire world is against her, and she's surrounded by people that are, or she's personally surrounded herself with people that are going to only say yes to her. And I'm not saying that I'm in a similar circumstance, obviously, because I'm mostly surrounded by people who say no to me all the time. But it does, like, I know that it is just the main motivation here is insecurity. And insecurity paired with this level of narcissism, I think, insecurity paired with this level of narcissism is a dangerous combination, especially when you have an entire, you know, not insignificant, sizable audience that will ride for you and ride into battle and do like basically cyber terrorism.
Yeah, no, it's true. And you know, conversely, that would be the potential downside of Megan responding again, because the barbs are merciless. And, you know, through the Tory stuff, Megan already knows how much of a negative impact mentally and, you know, maybe even career-wise, having your brand being associated with a conflict with somebody can be, you know, because as good as her current songs are, her future songs may or may not be, like for years from now, she's still going to continue to be remembered for the Tory stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if on top of that, she also ended up being remembered as, you know, somebody or the person who, you know, ended Nicki Minaj, got Nicki Minaj's goat, so on and so forth, you know, that could just end up being another thing for people to kind of focus on other than her music. You know, so which you know, again, could also have a negative impact as well long term.
Yeah. All right. Well, Anthony Fantano, Internet's Busy Music Nerd, thank you so much for coming on. You are a phenomenal voice in the space. I don't care if you rated someone's favorite album like a light 6 or something.
Thank you.
Mostly because I don't listen to music. That's why I can get away with saying all this stuff. Because
you know,
I have no like emotional attachment to like a singular artist or a song like that. So
that's why we get along so well. You know,
yeah.
You're one of the few content creators who will endorse me because you're completely music neutral.
Yeah. No, 100%. Exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, brother.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye. Guys, watch Anthony's latest video that's going to come out on all of this stuff, including the drama and the music in and of itself, obviously. So that is what I am asking you to do. Yeah, Melon is the man. Now I'm going to play this TikToker's analysis of the situation, the T, and the analysis of the situation, and then we're going to move on. Can we not shit on the McDonald Shapiro song so much? I agree, it's not my best work, but the Daily Wire money paid pretty well. What can I say? Get your bag. Not listening to music as a hobby makes you so white-coated? What do you mean? White people love music. What the fuck are you talking about? It makes me weird for sure, and I recognize it, but I ain't got time for it.